Hey everyone, this is Better Than Skooma. My name is Reese Stevenson, and today is our first podcast that we are starting. And I'm here with a good friend of the show and dad of the show, my dad Scott.
Hi, here I am,
Here he is.
playing Call to Arms.
Yeah, so we got to play a 600-point game. So we did a full 600-point game. We wanted to try out something big and see how it worked out. And it was awesome.
It was crazy. It was huge. There's someone, you get that many points on a game, and there's just so much you have to think about.
Yeah, it kind of feels like playing 2 to 3 games at once, because each of the parts of the map kind of become their own little battlefields that you can help each other out on different sides of the map.
I agree, yeah. And just the idea of having that much stuff happening, it's hard to wrap your head around in trying to strategize about the whole thing.
So this podcast is going to be kind of a battle report where we are talking about this 600-point game we just played. Yeah, we're going to see where this podcast goes. I don't have it totally planned out, but we just wanted to talk about the game more and couldn't record the video of this, so we're just doing a podcast of it. I think we should start out by talking about our armies that we were playing and get into what we put together for each of our armies. So I can start out. We did Stormcloaks versus Imperials. We've been collecting kind of the original sets. We now have all of the original Stormcloaks and Imperials, so we could do a really big game like this. We both ended up doing 4 heroes, and I have Ulfric Stormcloak, and he's got his Ulfric clothes with a steel war axe, and he's got a glass shield, and then I gave him a disarmed dragon shout. And then I got Ralof, and Ralof is carrying an elven bow. He's got scaled armor, and he's got a health potion. And then Yssaril Thrice Pierced was running out there with a Skyforged war axe, Stormcloak officer armor, steel shield, and a stamina potion, and he had a health potion. And then Galmar Stonefist was my 4th hero, and he's got he picked up a treasure. What did he got here? Okay, he started out with a Skyforged battle axe, Stormcloak officer armor. He had a regenerate health necklace on, and a health potion. So I had 11 followers, and I went with 3 Stormcloak greatswords, just because I just did that video on the greatswords, so I've been thinking about them a lot. So of course I wanted to pair them up with Yssaril, and it's perfect for this big of a game to do all 3 of them running around on the map, because there's so many guys on the map now.
They're so strong. They're crazy strong.
I know, they hit on 4s, and they're just a black dice.
Yeah, you got to hit those guys first. If you go in for the attack, you have to attack first. If you let them have the advantage, you are going to be lucky to come out of it.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Especially just like followers, they can just chop followers up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then the others was basics. I had some archers, I had a huntsman, both of the Stormcloak soldiers that have shields, so one with an axe and one with a sword, and I think that's about it. Yeah, we can go more into that while we're talking about what's happened on the battlefield too. But what do you got?
And then, so I was playing the Imperials, and I started out leading my army. I had General Tullius. Never played him before, and he's kind of a puzzle. Because I wasn't sure how he was working. But I mean, more on that later. But I had him kitted out with General Tullius's armor. He just had a standard Imperial sword and an Imperial shield. And then he had 1 minor potion of healing, and that was it. And then I had Legate Fassendil, and that guy is a beast. I love that character. And
Oh yeah, that guy's crazy. This is your first time playing him too, right?
Yeah, first time playing him, and he had the 2 Skyforged swords, because he can dual wield, that's a great option for that guy.
Yeah, what's his ability with it when he has 2 swords? These are huge.
It is Twin Slashes. That's one of his perks.
Oh, it's the perk that does it?
Yeah, it's the perk that does it, Twin Slashes. And then Twin Slashes, instead of having a follow-up hit with your 2nd sword, you instead change your roll from your damage dice as 1 green and 1 red to, wasn't it 1...
It just adds a black to it.
It just adds a black to it, that's right. So it's 1 green, 1 red, 1 black.
That's just his basic attack.
Yeah.
That's no boost.
It's so good. If he hits, he's doing damage.
What does he hit on? So he hits on a 4, so he's not like
Yeah, it's not crazy. Well, that's the upgrade. Yeah, he hits on a Ford whether he's upgraded or not.
Okay.
So I also had Hodvar, who was kitted with Imperial armor, an Imperial sword, a steel shield, potion of minor healing, and a minor stamina. So I kind of like the way he was set up. And then so my mage, I had the Imperial Mage spell sword, and she had Destruction Spell of Flames and a flame rune. So the fur armor, the light armor, helps her recover an extra magicka. And then she had minor healing potion and a potion of minor magicka. So those are my heroes. And then I had 3 Imperial soldiers with heavy armor, 3 drill yard trainees, 3 archers, and 3 of the Imperial sword and shield soldiers. And that was my army. I kind of liked it. I liked the way that thing was set up.
You liked how it played out?
Yeah, I mean, I liked.
Nice.
Well, I didn't quite like how it played out, but anyways, but I liked the way it played. It felt cohesive the way those guys worked together.
Yeah. I think it was having all the heavies was really fun to have on the board, like all in a troop with Hodvar. Like those guys are good. They're great for they just have good survivability because their armor is so incredible.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the board. So we can say you're north and I'm south, right?
Okay.
North.
Yep.
And so our board was kind of a town that's run down. So we have 3 buildings and a tower on the sort of east side of the board. And then on the west end, there's a forest, and the forest kind of wraps around and goes to the north. So you have this kind of woodsy area outside of it. Yeah.
And then on the northeast corner, you had a higher hill just off of the deployment zone. Mm-hmm. And the large building.
Right, we have one really large building, a 2-story building.
Yeah. And all the terrain is from the the northern settlement
Battle systems?
Battle systems, yeah. The northern settlement battle systems, which are really cool. I mean,
yeah,
the
I like
stuff
them a
looks
lot.
Really good for
Yeah.
being a cardboard. It's not cardboard, I guess, but
some sort of card stock, like a thick
sort of
card stock.
Yeah. And it really has great detail, and it's fun to put together too because it's also kind of a puzzle to put together. There's no instructions for anything. You gotta try to look up a YouTube video, and there's only 1 or 2 that I found.
And they're kind of you just kind of do what you want.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I think that they're like little Lego sets, and they feel very Skyrim, which works well in this game.
Yeah,
and
they
the
really
scale
look like
works well.
Skyrim's buildings.
Yeah, there's a well and stuff in the center of the board. It's awesome. Yeah, so we had a ton of adversaries in this. So we were playing battle mode. We were doing, it's kind of a classic battle mode scenario. Here, I've got the quest book in front of me right here. And it is...
Yeah, the board was split directly east and west down the center.
Yeah,
And
it's
then-
Ancient Ruins is what it's called.
Oh, okay. Because then that's where the objectives were set up, and that's where the treasures were all set up within 3 inches of the center line of the board.
Yeah. Yep. And also adversaries spawn on the objectives. So with 600 points, we had 10 objectives out there and 9 treasures, I think.
I think that's what it was,
So
yeah.
the center of the board is just filled with things to get to and stuff to loot.
Yeah, it was really fun because being able to get to treasures and loot, because there's so much, you can't do that in a smaller game.
Right.
At least I have a hard time trying to fight off monsters in a 300-point game, trying to fight off monsters and an adversary and an opponent, and then trying to loot or get to an objective.
I know.
It's a hard thing to do in 6 turns.
Yes, yeah, because you only have 6 turns for the game to end. So I find most of the time when I'm playing smaller scale games, I'm only looting treasures once or twice,
Yeah.
And sometimes it's locked, and you have to just say, screw it.
Can't do it. I don't have enough time to try to figure this one out.
And it might not even be that good. There was a big difference with having so much treasure out there that we were kind of constantly looting.
It was great because
searching treasures, I mean.
And of course, the first treasure that Reese opens up was a torch.
The one junk card.
It was right on the top.
I was like...
I love that. It was aha!
Yeah. Oh, man, it sucks.
You shuffled it.
I know. Also, we can treat this podcast also as a listening thing for beginners, too. the treasure deck is 10. No, it's like 16 treasure cards, but there's only one card in there that is a junk card, and it's always just a worthless card. So I had 1 in like 16 chance to pull that, and it was on the top of the deck. It's like, okay, well, let's see how this game goes. Yeah, so let's talk about our adversaries. So we had a huge adversary list for this because we had 600 points of adversaries that we...
Yeah, so many.
So many.
And we just took... How did we figure out which adversaries we were taking in? Did we just put the cards down and put the people or put the adversaries on the cards and then just randomly decided that's how we were going to do it?
Right.
That's right.
I just pulled up a random number generator on my phone, and so we would just have that thing select the creatures for us whenever it was at random.
That worked out really well.
Actually worked out great.
Yeah.
So we had, with this big of points, we had 2 master adversaries, which we've never had 2 master adversaries in one game.
No.
We had a Draugr Deathlord and the Barrow Falls Guardian. We had a Broodmother Spider with 3 of the little hatchlings. I think they're called like Web Weavers or something. Web Weavers.
Yeah.
We had 2 Frost Trolls, and then we kind of had a smattering of like skeletons. I got the Skeleton Axemen out there. We got Skeleton Warriors, and we got Draugr Greatswords and a couple of Skeleton Archers. So a pretty full cast of creatures, but some of these are in different factions, but you can have like beasts in the same game, on the same adversary force as Draugr, because they're just beasts, but that doesn't mean they're on the same side, so they will fight each other if they're next to each other. So we had like a spider fighting a troll at one point in the game.
Which was great because then it took off that pressure, you know?
Yeah.
When you're looking in the woods and there's a spider and a troll, and the troll attacks the spider, it's like, oh, now I don't have to deal with that.
Yeah, that's because they hit hard. They can ruin your game. They can mess up.
Oh, they can destroy a game.
Yeah.
They can take over one part of the board and you're not getting it.
Just don't even deal with it.
Yeah, if they happen to kill your hero over there,
right,
you're done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean we can talk about both of the masters, like what they can do, like how strong they are.
Yeah, so this Deathlord is a 75-point
killing machine.
Killing machine.
Oh my gosh. He was just...
Look at his stat line. Check him out.
I don't want to look at it. He beat me up.
He did. He murdered.
Oh, he beat
many Imperials.
Dude, let's not talk about that yet. I'm still trying to get over it. His melee, his damage, his attack is he hits on a 6, and his dice are a green and 2 black.
So he's hit. Did he ever miss? I feel like he never missed.
I don't think he ever missed. I don't think he ever missed me.
I think he was constantly hitting you and 2 blacks, which is crazy.
Yeah, and of course you get a helmet on any of your dice during that roll, and you get bleed. And if you get the cross swords, you get punishing 1. And he also has ranged attacks. So he can also, on his ranged attacks, it's a red and a yellow. So that dude is no joke.
Wow.
Oh, his ranged attacks, I see. It's his shout.
Okay, it's a shout.
Yeah, enchanted force, and it's plus 3 inches pushback.
Okay, so he's got the same shout that the Bleak Falls Barrel guy has.
Yeah.
So they both do like unrelenting force kind of shout things.
Yep.
Oh, I also wanted to say, like, when you have adversaries fighting each other on the map, it feels very Skyrim. Like, you in Skyrim you come upon these like scenes of things.
Oh yeah.
Fighting each other.
Totally. I mean, I was literally playing it just 15 minutes ago on the Switch, and I walk around a corner and there is a wolf attacking a spider or something. I can't remember what it was, but it was it was like a wolf and a spider.
Yeah.
And you just like, oh, now I gotta like move around this.
Yeah. Don't want to deal with this.
Yeah, I don't want to deal with this because I'm low level right now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. It's great. It really translates great. So, yeah, let's get into. We have to take a break soon to get ready to go, but I think we should start talking about like the first round, and the first round went, and kind of what was going on with that.
Yeah, we can talk about our troop layout and how we kind of separated our bosses or whatever, our heroes, with what troops we put with those heroes.
Oh yeah, because we did the right way to do
deployment.
We did the right deployment, right?
Yeah.
Which is cool because the starting player gets to put half their forces down, and then the next player puts half their forces down, and the starting player puts the rest of their forces down, which you kind of did a little counter move on me. It felt like I put mine to kind of counter your guys, and I feel like you made a big horde all of a sudden, and it was.
Yeah, I mean, I had that planned anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do like the way that worked out so that you couldn't see all of the work.
Yeah.
So having the advantage there, being the first one to deploy, makes a difference.
It does, because the second person just has to kind of react, and then you get your final one to get down, and it felt cool. Yeah. All right, so let's take a break, and we'll go into the first round of the game, and kind of how that went. Okay, we're back, and so let's go over some deployment stuff.
So I had priority, and so I started with put General Tullis on the east side of the board, because I was just looking at how it was set up, and there was a whole bunch of treasure and stuff there that I thought would be pretty strategic to get, but we'll talk about that later. I ended up splitting my troops up. I put General Tullius with Hardbar and some heavies, the heavies over on my left, and then on the right I put Legate Fassendil with some drill yard recruits on the west. So right in the center of the board I put the Imperial Mage, and she had her fire spell, which had a range of six or 8. Yeah, anyways, so I put her in the middle with the archers, because I wanted them to be kind of a ballistics group that kind of.
Yeah, you put all your range into one unit.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting. And they were in the center of the board, which was kind of the most open area of the board. It was like, there's the well, there's like a well in the center, and it's like the houses were to the east of it, and then to the west was the forest. And the well area was kind of open. Except there was a guard tower there.
Yeah, there was the guard tower there, which
Up
you
in the
could see
center.
through, which had a skeleton archer in the guard tower.
Right.
Yeah.
Guarding an objective. Right, so you had on the west side, you had, what's his name?
Legate Fassendil.
Oh yeah, so on the west side you put Fassendil with a bunch of the like recruit guys. So it was one leader.
Three drill yard recruits.
Yes, which was interesting. They're like almost like a little just like side mission you had going on.
Yeah, I had this super like badass leader with a couple of just drill yard recruits that
the cheapest
of the cheap.
Yeah, but they were looking over a forest. Do you remember what was in that forest? Because it was crazy.
Well, yeah, there was the Broodmother was in there, and the Troll was in there, and
the
what
hulking
else?
Draugr.
The hulking Draugr was in there.
So it was just those 3, I think, to start. Oh, and I think there was a small spider too, a web weaver.
Yeah, there was a web weaver in there.
There was
objective
2 treasures and 3 objectives in those woods.
Oh,
so
wow.
Right on the west side, the woods were just full of stuff, but they had some of the biggest adversaries in there, which was really cool, and kind of why when I did my deployment, I kind of stayed away from those woods. I figured you'd put yourself in too much hot water.
Yeah.
Because I put just, so in the center, I put Ulfric by himself with a couple of followers. I had, I think both my archers were with him. No, I had one archer with him, and then a couple of axe guys, and just a bunch of basic followers for him to lead his own unit. And then on the east side of the map, I put down Galmar Stonefist and Yasar Thrice Pierce leading most of my followers, which were all my great swords. I had my huntsman archer over there, and then I had a couple of like shield, because there's only 2 followers for the Stormcloaks that have shields, so I gave one guy with the shield to Ulfric and one guy with the shield to kind of for Yasarld to lead. And then Ralof was by himself, kind of in the east-ish area, but he got stuck behind a fence most of the game.
he was stuck in the pig pen.
I know, I had a pig pen that he jumped into, did a great jump on the first round, and then the whole rest of the game could not jump over this fence, so I just had to shoot with him from a distance because I just was failing every single...
It was the best.
Agility test. Oh, it's terrible.
It was so good.
Oh, man. So let's go into kind of how the game played out.
Yeah, I mean, and my guys, I ended up running into the woods with Legate Fassendil and his crew.
Yeah, you put him up on a hill right outside of the woods and kind of watched as the adversaries attacked themselves.
Yeah, the troll ended up being activated, and he went for the closest adversary, and he went straight for that brood mother, which was so good.
That was great. That really locked him up for you.
Yeah, that locked up that area, which, I mean, that was the best thing that could have happened for me over there.
Yeah, but then you had the hulking Draugr activated by Fassendil.
Yes.
And you had readied Fassendil to attack the Draugr.
Yeah, he used all his stamina, everything he had.
Yeah.
And totally missed that.
Yep. Like, you'd been set up to trigger him to hit him and miss, and then the hulking Draugr hit you and caught you with a bleed action.
That's right. Yeah. He really knocked me for a loop.
I know, and you were so bummed because Fassendil had been rolling like 2 black dice or something. It was, with his ability, it was like a red, black, green as a base.
Yeah, I think it was.
You double boosted it.
Yeah, but luckily for him, on the next guy to move was my drill yard companion, and the drill yard companion ran up and just pummeled that Draugr.
You got a crit.
Yeah.
You took a picture of it.
Yeah, which was cool.
Oh yeah, it was great. It kind of showed up in the moment.
Yeah, Legate couldn't do anything, but the drill yard companion ran up there and just crushed a hulking Draugr.
Yeah, that was great.
The least of the guy took out one of the heaviest.
There was all this action happening over there, but on the other side of the map, where we had Ulfric and Tullius and Hardvar, but it was like Ulfric and Tullius were leading. The main troops were just kind of heading to the center of the map to fight over this stuff on the east side of the map. And that took like 2 turns for that to like start up. You kind of got in there first, but you were dealing with all the adversaries there.
Yes.
And then you activated that Death Lord.
Yeah, there was one big Death Lord behind a building, which didn't do me any favors. He locked me up good.
Yeah, he locked up all your heavies. Pretty much charged you in the side and got your heavy stuck.
Yeah, and I had to put as many of them as I could in there to keep him in place and try to hit him with as much as I could.
Yeah.
And I just...
Well, it came down to you kind of treated it like he's going to be killing a guy a turn, pretty much.
Yeah, and I didn't want you to kill him because you had the oath that you were going to take him out. So I wanted to try to not have you take him out and do it myself. That took up 3 of my heavy armor guys and Hardvar, and nobody could get a hit on him. I missed most of the time, and then when I did, he just ignored everything.
I know, because he's got that black armor. Yeah, and you were kind of maxing out at like 3 hits a lot of the time, because like the heavies are only rolling a green and a red, but they only hit on 3, so you miss a lot, but then you're only getting like 2 to 3 damage in, and when you're doing 2 to 3 damage against somebody with a heavy armor on, most likely he's only going to do 1 damage tops.
No, that guy, you need to hit that guy with like 5.
Yes.
At a minimum.
Yeah.
Like 4 or 5 at a minimum to where you can at least get 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Through. Totally. So, and then in the center of the map, we had Ulfric and my couple of followers, and on the other side of that was your mage leading the archers.
That mage leading the archers, I liked her. She was good in there. I think she was doing some good hits. She was...
Yeah, she was great. I mean, she's such a solid... I think, like, if I play Imperials... I think if I'm ever playing Imperials, I'll always want to have the Imperial Mage in my team. Like, she has Evocation, which is if she's wearing light armor, she gets to recover an extra magicka every round, and she has that Mastery of Destruction, which is just a green dice with every destruction spell she does.
Yeah, and she gets a lot of attention, so just her moving through the board is going to cause the opponent to focus on her because she is so dangerous.
Yes, because she's got, especially when you give her the Fire Rune spell, which is so good. Do you want to talk about that spell at all? Because I think you've been using it a lot in our games lately.
Yeah, I mean, I've used it the last couple of times, and every time you use it, I mean, basically it's a landmine. You just throw a landmine out there, and I ended up this time throwing it between a greatsword and an archer, and I was able to get it within 3 inches of the both of them, which if they move, it triggers it.
Yes.
And it's a devastating spell.
Yeah, I mean, both those guys only have 1 yellow for the defense because Stormcloaks have pretty low defense usually. Well, I mean, they just do. That you just pin them to the center of the map where...
Yeah, you can't move. They can't move.
And locking up a greatsword sucks for me because I got 3 of them in my army and they're meant to be in the fight. Like,
yeah.
Always super aggressive because they kill so hard. So once you put that Fire Rune down and I can't move, it is so tough. It's kind of like, I don't know, this game I just didn't move those guys for the rest of the game.
No,
I just used the archer to fire some shots, but didn't get anything with it.
Nope, they just stayed there, which was great. It just locked up two of your best guys.
Do you think it would be worth it for me to move, if I'm in that situation again, to just try and get my greatsword out of there because the archer isn't doing enough by itself?
Well, I mean, it's a chance, but the greatsword is still going to take the hit. He's still going to be damaged.
Yeah.
Because do you remember what the dice roll on that one is?
We should look it up real quick.
Yeah.
I should grab the spell.
Yeah, so it's Fire Rune. It costs 2 magicka to cast, and has a range of 12 inches with no modifier on the dice. So at 12 inches, you get 2 yellow dice, and then if you get helmets, then you add a red. So, I mean, you do the math. You're the math guy.
I'm the math guy.
You're the math guy.
Yeah, so if you're doing, 2 yellows right there, you're probably averaging 2 to 3 damage. So my guys have, it might be worth it just to move them next time, because there's a chance you can whiff it with 2 yellows. If you get that helmet, though, it's over. And there's one helmet on each dice.
True.
So if you roll a helmet, which you have 2 sides, one on each of your dice to give you a helmet, and then you can get a red on it, that would destroy them. Plus, if you do any damage, it lights them on fire, which means I'm taking an immediate damage next round.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
But you could totally whiff it. It's possible to not get anything.
Yeah, I feel like if they aren't, because I had them on a hold the point objective, so they were getting... Nice. No, you're good. They were getting 2 points each round, so I was like, maybe they'll just stay there and just be scoring me points. My archer will fire off from then on. But I think if they get locked up and there isn't an objective around them, I should definitely get them out of there.
Maybe just try to move one just to see what happens, because they're not doing you any good if they're sitting there.
I think we should definitely talk about Tullius and what it was like to play Tullius.
Well, I mean, Tullius was kind of a puzzle. I mean, he has Pathomite. His perks are Persuasion, Puncture, Reflect Blows, and Revitalize. And I mean, his stats themselves they're not the highest. Like, his Strength is only a 3, Agility a 3, but his Endurance is a 5, and Intelligence 5, and a Wisdom is a 6. So I mean, all that's pretty high, which I mean tells you, okay, he's not much of a fighter, but he's a leader. I mean, that's what I see if I look at the card.
That's what we saw that and we're like, okay, so let's not get him in the fights too much.
Yeah.
But then those perks actually really make up what he can do.
Yeah, the perks, and then if you put his armor on him, he has the General Tullius armor. That stuff makes him kind of a tank.
Yeah, he can he's rolling the black dice. It ignores piercing, and then it has something else that makes it good. I can't remember off the top of my head, but hold on, let me find his perk. Can you read his perk again?
His perks are Persuasion, Puncture, and Revitalize.
Revitalize is what it is. So he has that endurance of a 5, which comes into play for his heavy armor skill test, which pairs with Revitalize, which is where when he takes a damage, anytime he takes any damage, he takes a heavy armor skill test, and if he passes it, he gets a yellow added to all of his attacks for the rest of the round.
That's right. Yeah, so what you kind of find out is once you get him into the fight, well, I mean, the first couple rounds, it just didn't seem like he was doing much. He was just kind of there taking up 75 points of your septims.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you got into a fight and I realized, oh, okay, yeah, this guy is he's worth having in there.
Yeah, worth having when he's actually fighting, because I had Yasarl charge him.
That's right.
And I did a little bit of damage to you, but because of you have such heavy armor on, it just got the 1 damage through, which tends to happen. And when you have Revitalize, that means from then on, his attacks are boosted, and he's got Puncture, which is the other boost that lets him make you add Bleed if you spend an extra stamina. So you can make people bleed if he gets damage in.
Yeah, and that bleed token, you get a bleed token on you. It's kind of devastating because you just know when you move or do anything, instant damage.
Yeah, instant damage. I think you have to pass an endurance test to make it go away, but usually at best that's a 50-50 chance. So you just have free damage happening.
Yeah.
So he stood toe-to-toe with...
Yasarl. Yeah, and so the general's armor is a black, just a black dice.
Which is always
with
great.
What is it, a negating of piercing?
Yep.
The 1 red?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it ignores that, and then you get a helmet, you add a yellow, you get an Oblivion sign, adds a red.
Oh, you get to add a red on top of it if you
Yeah.
Oblivion? Wow. Oh, or a yellow, so you have 2 chances to add even more defense to it.
Yes.
Yeah, I think if you see that on... Anyone has armor that is doing something like that, and this armor only he can wear, that means get him in the fight.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he's not just standing in the background trying to point at people, like his model says so.
Like his model's doing. Yeah, we totally misread it. I think it was like the third round that you were like, I don't get why I would ever use this guy.
Yeah, and I said that. I don't know why I would spend this much septims on putting this model in a game. I don't think I'd want to.
Do you feel differently now?
I do. I think I would. I definitely think I would put him back in the game again. Just for one, he did pretty well, and two, they wouldn't make him worth that many points if he wasn't good.
Right. Do you remember the scenario that we got into where he started showing off?
He had picked up a treasure, and it was the Lucky Dagger. Yssaril charged him. I think I might have had a ready token on him.
No, you had nothing on him.
I had nothing on him. I didn't have a ready token. I didn't have a shield on him. I didn't have anything. And then Yssaril charged him, and you hit him. His armor deflected everything.
No, it turned on.
Did it too?
It activated your puncture or whatever. You took a damage, so you could activate your revitalize.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
I'm pretty sure.
And then I rolled and hit with that Lucky Dagger, which just figured he just seemed like the kind of guy that was going to be just evil.
Had some nasty little dagger.
Oh yeah, nasty little dagger, and just basically stabbed him in the liver, and then it almost took him out.
It got him down to 1
It got him
health.
down to 1 health, and he had a bleed on him.
Yes.
So I was just gonna let Tellius walk away from him and just let him bleed out.
Yeah, it was so crazy. We were like, whoa, he can do that? So then I had my greatsword. I had a greatsword with Yssaril, because they should always be together. And the greatsword then charged Tullius. And Tullius, what did he do? He blocked him?
He blocked him and yeah, came back and killed the greatsword with that dagger.
Yeah, with 1 hit.
Which was great.
It was crazy.
I didn't expect that out of that model.
Yeah, he looks like just a show off. But yeah, he totally just stopped Yssaril, killed his guard or his buddy, and then I think the game ended with him and Yssaril still face to face because I was able to roll the endurance check for Dry Spears not to die.
That's right, yeah.
But
yeah, so Yssaril ended up tying Tullius up for the rest of the game in that fight, which, I mean, that worked out pretty well, but it was sure fun to see him come back and get those hits on him.
Yeah.
On Yssaril.
Yeah, that was great. That was great.
And Tullius was not, since he was tied up, General Tullius was not able to go help Hardvar and the 3 heavy armors fight the Draugr.
Yes.
The Draugr Death Lord.
Yes.
Which they could have used his help.
Yeah, I think that tied up so much of your game. I think you were kind of, I think that did a lot of damage in the end.
It did a lot of damage in the end because I couldn't hit him.
I know. Man, if you come up against a heavy armor, you have to have like somebody with a 2-handed weapon or something, because they can just deflect so much of it. And you only have, when the scenario we're playing is 6 rounds. You miss 3 hits, you're missing half the game.
Yeah. So that was our tie-up on the east side of the board.
Let's talk about what happened with Legate Fassendale on the west side of the map, because I just spawned a Bleak Falls Barrow Draugr over there.
Yeah. Yeah, so above and beyond everything else that was happening over there, there was a troll.
Yeah.
The troll had just killed the brood mother.
Yes.
And then there was something else over there, wasn't there? There was, besides that, wasn't there one more adversary there?
You killed the Hulking Draugr. So just the troll was left in the middle of the woods.
That's right. The troll was left in the middle of the woods, and then the other Draugr got spawned, and your guy came in.
Ulfric.
Ulfric decided, I'm not afraid of this troll. I'm going to attack him.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was, I mean, that was pretty heroic.
Yeah, it was time. Well, before I attacked the troll, you had shot Ulfric with the new bow that you got.
Was that before?
Yes, because I charged your 2 little guys. And
that's right. Okay. So before that then, what happened was Legate Fassendale went in and he charged the
Bleak Falls
Bleak Falls Barrow Guardian.
Yeah.
And pulled out 2 Skyforged swords, ran at him, and basically cross-swiped him left, right, and just hacked him in half.
Yeah.
Basically hacked him in half. It was one of the most epic hits that...
It was great.
Yeah, it was
his
so
comeback, because he had missed that one before.
It was his comeback. Yeah. It was his retribution.
Yeah, totally.
Because he missed the other one. His drill yard trainee shows up and kills it in front of him, and he was kind of like, whatever. So it was his retribution. He ran over there and killed that guy, and then he ends up after killing him.
Yeah, because when you kill a master adversary, you get to pull a master treasure, which we used to always forget, and it's a big deal.
It is a huge deal because there's such good treasure in there.
Yeah, they're great.
And the treasure that he ended up picking up was a Zephyr bow, and the Zephyr bow is the special part of it is it's enchanted, and after resolving a critical hit for any ranged attack performed with this weapon, you immediately perform another free ranged attack with the Zephyr, that's huge.
I mean, you get a critical hit, you get to shoot again.
Yeah, and its short range is 8 inches, and it's a green and a red. And the long range is 16 inches, which is just a red. A helmet gives you piercing, and the cross swords give you a green dice and a yellow dice.
Wow, so if you hit cross swords at a short distance, you're rolling 2 greens, a red, and a yellow?
Yes.
That's a killer bow.
It's so killer. It's so good.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it makes him pretty unstoppable.
Yeah, so you killed that Draugr. We're there. That was the end of the turn. Ulfric is sitting within 8 inches of you. So Ulfric was out of charging. Oh, I guess I could have charged you. I feel like you were a little bit further. But whatever. You then, on the following turn, shot Ulfric. Oh, I realized that if I charged you, I was going to activate that troll, so I just had Ulfric charge the troll.
Yeah, that's right, because you would have got nailed by that troll anyways if you started moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you activate an adversary, he immediately heads towards who activated him.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it wouldn't have done any good to charge me anyway, so you might as well charge him and be able to hit him.
Charge a troll, also killed it in one hit. So it's kind of a bunch of big one-hitters happening in there.
Oh, huge one-hitters.
Big rolls. We're both screaming.
Yeah.
We're like, yeah! Getting so stoked.
That's one of those ones where you dance around and shake your ass a little bit and move your arms. You're like, woo-hoo-hoo!
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of moments in that with actually, in Call to Arms all the time. I feel like
there's always those moments.
Constantly cheering over stuff.
And there's also like I have the ability to hit 2 or 3 crit misses in a row, and it makes
You did.
Yeah.
Start of this game, you rolled 3 crits in a row. I think.
In a row, yeah.
Crit misses in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had this look of
man, I was
one of these.
Yeah, and that's the way this game plays out. You'll hit those crit misses right away, and then all of a sudden I'm thinking, there's no way I can pull out of this. There's no way I'm even going to be even close to winning this game. But so anyways, that's what happened on the west side of the board, and it was pretty epic.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
It really came down to it. I mean, both of our heroes got to kind of show their grit. Ulfric got to use his intimidation to scare off the little guys. You got to use Fastendil to do his cool sword tricks.
He did great
very
sword
satisfying.
tricks. Yeah.
Yeah.
The other cool thing about him getting that bow is he has that ranger perk.
That's right, when he levels up. So he leveled up and had ranger perks. So
yes.
He was like built. If he got sidelined or anything,
he was built for this game.
Yeah.
This game we played here, he was built for this game. He was the perfect choice to do this. And I hadn't played him before, so finding that out was really fun and satisfying. That was super cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. So if in your next game you play Imperials, do you want to try him out more? Do you want to try someone new? How do you feel about him?
I mean, I would definitely try. He would definitely become one of my favorites. I mean, him and Hardvar, I think would be awesome to have as a team to go out. But I mean, they're just Hardvar being a tank and him just being, I mean, Aragorn. You know?
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Right.
Right? I mean, he really is.
No, he's awesome.
He can do all of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he had a good team. So let's move on to the next scenario before we talk about the very end of the game. Is we had probably the most epic ending I've ever had with one of my heroes on the final turn.
Oh, it was so good.
It was so good. So I've got Galmar Stonefist. He is sprinting out into the center of the map because I have the oath to kill a master adversary, and I'll get 3 victory points, which is huge. And we were pretty close. It was like 25-30 at this point.
We were at that point. We had gotten pretty close in our scores.
Yeah. So I was going to have him charge the center and move towards that Death Lord, who had been just fighting you the entire game. He had killed 2 or 3 heavies at this point. And
yeah, he was just annihilating me. I had like 3 heavy armor guys on him. And Hardbar.
He was going at the end of this. It was just him and Hardbar going toe to toe, just
Yeah.
like barely surviving.
Hardbar was barely surviving, and I'm not even sure he would have lasted another 1 round.
Yes.
I'm not sure he would have made it to the end of the round.
So my plan was, with Galmar Stonefist being leveled up, he has great critical charge. So if he's sprinting in with a double-handed weapon, he gets a free red dice on his attack. So I was like, I'm going to spread the Death Lord, get it in 1 hit with my I had a Skyforge War Axe, and he hits the center of the board and gets torched.
My Imperial Mage was able to get close enough.
Full charge with just flames.
With just flames. And I boosted everything I could on it.
Yeah.
And I hit him and just
dropped him.
Did I hit a crit? I think I hit a
You might have hit a crit.
I think I hit a crit on that because I got like a 5 or something like that.
Which with 3 yellows you can get.
Yeah.
But it was like, and I also rolled a bad defense roll. You got me pretty much down to.
I had double. That's what it was. I had double 2s on my yellows. I hit you with 4. That's what it was. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, and he had already had damage on him.
And he had already had damage.
So he went down to. I think I rolled a blank or something. Whatever, not important. He ends up with 1 health, and he has what's important with fire spells is he was on fire.
Yeah. So he had 1 health. He's on fire. All I have to do is wait for the next round, and this guy's dead.
But he has, so I have endurance of 5, so at the beginning of his turn, he'd make an endurance check, which left it up to like a 50-50. He's going to survive the next round, which was kind of the game for me. And you never want to rely on 50-50, like it's a toss. So
we pull the event card.
Pull the event card at the end of the 5th round. This is going into the final round.
It's a blizzard.
It's a blizzard.
And what happens with a blizzard?
It puts the fire out.
No!
It was
I hate
so
that.
good.
I hate that so bad.
It was so good. So the blizzard puts the fire out on him. Oh, and at the end of the 5th round, he was next to a puzzle, so he had solved the puzzle.
That's right.
Picked up the ebony greatsword of flames, this crazy master treasure that's like a 2 black sword that causes fire damage if it rolls a helmet.
Yeah, so he has the fire put out.
Fire puts out, he has this flaming sword, and he's able to sprint up to the Death Lord.
In the beginning of the 1st round, because you had priority.
I got priority that round too.
Yes, you
That's
got
right.
priority
so you
that
couldn't
round.
just hit him again with it. Oh,
No.
So lucky.
Yeah, because I would have flamed him again.
I know, that would have been so anticlimactic if he was like, okay, get up. Just
For you, it would have been anticlimactic. For me, it would have been great. I would have just been like cooking this dude.
Yeah. Thankfully, I had priority for this round, so I sprinted into the Death Lord, hit him with the Ebony Greatsword of Flames, rolled a crit, and it was 9 damage that it dealt.
That was unreal. I can't believe you rolled 9 damage. But I mean, that's what you got to hit to kill something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
That's I had, and he's got that great critical charge, so already had an extra red on it, did full boost. He had, he's got War Master, which means also when he's carrying 2-handed weapons, he doesn't need to pay the double stamina to boost it. So he was able to boost both damage and accuracy again. So these combos in this game are what are really fun, is when you can be like...
Yeah. And it goes to show you, you can have these really good troops. You can have the heavy armor guys, and you can have Hodbar on him, and you can be hitting and beating him up, but if his defense is so good, you can't get to that level of getting past his defense. You need something like this Ebony Greatsword to run in there and crush him with it, and hit like a crit or a very good roll to where you can actually get enough to go through him.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, you got to really think about these. Master adversaries are so interesting on the board. They really change how you deal with the map, which is also one of my favorite things about this game, is that you got these random AI enemies on the board that you're also playing Skyrim against.
Yeah. I love having the random AI in this game because it just works so well. It just works good.
Yeah.
Everything about this setup just seems to work the way it's supposed to, and it makes it feel like you're playing a Skyrim game.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels like a fun, competitive Skyrim. I don't know, it translates really well.
Imagine that. They built a game called Skyrim that plays like Skyrim. Oh. Good job, guys.
Yeah, seriously. Okay, so game ended. That ended with the game. I took the victory. I think it was like 32-25. I think we counted in the end, but it was like within a good 7.
And it's funny because you got a whole bunch of those points in that last round.
Yeah.
You made a lot of points. We were right there neck and neck. In the beginning rounds, you were ahead of me. I was feeling really bad.
Yeah, I kind of charged the center where it was kind of empty. I was able to pick up a couple of objectives, and I was like, I might have this game.
Yeah, and I got shut down on a couple of spots. On the east side, I was struggling over there, and Legate on the first couple rounds, he made that miss, and I wasn't able to quite get where I wanted to get to, so I was struggling. But then towards the middle of the game, I started picking up points, I started getting treasures, I started killing guys.
Yeah.
But then right at the end, you stepped away. You just started hitting dice and killing all the guys.
I think the Blizzard really switched it up for me. Being able to kill a Death Lord got me like 4 points right there.
Yeah, it was amazing.
And if I missed it, I would have just lost all those points plus 1 because of missing my oath. Yeah, it was great.
So much fun.
So I guess we'll wrap this up. I want to ask you, this is our first 600-point game. Normally we're playing 225 is kind of what we've been settling on lately.
Yeah.
So how did it feel to play this at this level?
I loved playing at this level. I think it was so fun being able to put out, basically 3 different armies.
Totally.
And to be able to have those armies go into different areas, but they can attack any one of your 2 or 3 different armies. I really loved playing it that way. And if I have the time, I would love to just have a giant game going forever. You know what I mean? Just
totally.
Constantly playing a big game.
Game. That's the thing is it was, how long was that game? It was a very long game.
Yeah, it took us 2 nights to do it, and we spent both nights probably 3 hours at least.
Yeah. I wouldn't doubt it, and we're also goofing around while we're playing too,
of course.
So we play it slow. But no, it's a serious time commitment. But I feel the same. This was like the best way I played this game is playing. It felt like there was so many different areas of the board that had so many different ways to strategize and attack. I had so many options, and also made it a little flexible because if you messed up on one part, you knew you could back it up. You can kind of
Yes, yeah, you can throw in troops to get close enough to do something and either distract them or actually attack.
Yeah, totally. Cool. Well, thanks for playing Call to Arms with me. I'm so glad we did this.
I'm so glad you came out and we played this. I'm so psyched, and just being able to put this much time and have this many models and to be able to do this. Man, all it makes me want to do is play more different factions.
I know. It's bad.
That's all.
It's bad.
It is.
So our next plan is to play remote games and play more different factions and maybe live stream because we live on opposite sides of the country. So that's kind of what we're doing with this podcast. Be able to talk about it while we're far apart. And
and I think it would be really fun to be able to have even just video short sections of a game and just being able to put it out there so people can just see how it kind of flows.
Totally. That's a good idea. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Well, thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you.